Hello, welcome. Welcome to worship with Melrose Unitarian Universalists Church. Hello and Merry Christmas. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and it is my great privilege to be the minister of this wonderful, wonderful congregation. We are gathered tonight not in person, but over the magical airwaves. We are together in spirit, indeed. Welcome to you and welcome Christmas. Visitors and newcomers are always welcome to be with us. There are no strangers tonight. To learn more about our church and our values, or to be ready to donate, please see our homepage at melroseuu.org. It is our tradition to give 100% of the donations given on Christmas Eve to a worthy cause. So tonight we are giving it all to The Second Step, an organization that supports survivors of domestic violence and which was co-founded by our own Margaret Gromitstein. Merry Christmas to all those good people and to all who give of themselves tonight. Bless you. I just want to mention again that tonight's planned socially distant outdoor gathering to sing carols and light candles in the darkness has been canceled because the forecast calls for high winds and buckets of rain to fall on us. So please stay warm and dry and stay home tonight. One other little tiny piece of instruction, please, before we get started, get yourself a candle, one for everyone in your Zoom room with you, and something to light it with. Later on, we're going to try to approximate the beautiful moment in our sanctuary, which you saw maybe a photo of on the title screen tonight, when we sing Silent Night together by candlelight, and we gaze upon all the beautiful faces here with us under candlelight. So if you don't have a candle with you, I will let you go and get one now, something to light it with. And flashlights are acceptable if you need to get one of those. And you might also want to remind yourself where the light switch in your room is, because it would be nice to do this in a darkened room. But you can wait till later until darken it, because we'll want to see your face before then. Tonight, you don't have a program in your hand and you don't need one. All the lyrics will be shown on the screen so you can sing along and follow along as you like. Listen and sing, and please stay muted, especially if you sing like me. You'll want to stay muted. There'll be a couple times maybe where you'll be able to unmute and say Merry Christmas to one another. I want to just give a special shout out and a thank you to all the people who helped put this worship service together, our wonderful MUUC staff, the readers, the members who will be reading from the Bible tonight, and all our musical contributors. Thanks also to all who are attending tonight and all who are donating. Special thanks also to all the people who can't be here tonight, people who are working, especially those who are keeping us safe tonight, people who are working in transit or food, mail delivery, people working in hospitals and nursing homes. Thank you to all of them. Now is a good moment to remind everyone about the Minister's Discretionary Fund. This is a special account created by the good people of this church to help one another in hard times. If you're having financial difficulties, please email me at minister@melroseuu.org. Because of the MDF, I can lend a hand in total confidentiality. Tonight is our traditional Christmas Eve service with just a few twists and maybe a couple of surprises. First, we'll do lessons and carols, which is 5 traditional Bible readings with carols in between them. And some of those carols have fun photos and special guests. Then near the midway point, we'll have special classical music for our offertory piece. After that is something new. Tonight, we will also tell a modern Christmas story about a holiday in hard times, and I'll offer a brief reflection on it. So you might choose the traditional story or both of the stories. It's up to you. And we will end the whole thing, as we always do, with our candles and Silent Night, and then Joy to the World. Afterward, there will be an optional social time here, right here in this Zoom room, for those people who would like to have a chat. So let's start off, as we usually do, by seeing who's here. If you want to switch to gallery view and scroll through and wave to one another and see all those smiling faces. Oh, I see a lot of red Christmas sweaters. I see a green one. I see some Santa hats. Hello, everybody. It's great to see you. Welcome and Merry Christmas. I call us to worship tonight with these words, inspired by the Reverend Kendall Gibbons. Christmas is a sturdy holiday. It doesn't wimp out when times are hard. It comes anyway. Even if there are hardly any presents, even when there isn't much of a feast, even when you're sad, even if you are living in fear or danger or oppression, Christmas still comes. And when it comes, Christmas subverts all expectations. With its story of an unwed mother and a doubtful father, with its legend of a helpless baby born in a stable who was worshipped by some of the wisest, richest men in the world, with its tale of the child pursued by the deadly wrath of kings, the baby who escaped as a refugee to a foreign land far from home, a child who grew up to teach the world some enduring lessons about love and justice and hope. Christmas can change the world. To get us started and to warm up our voices, we have a special "O Come All Ye Faithful," where you play the starring role. Our choir provides the audio, but I asked you in the newsletter to send in holiday selfies, and you sent in so many wonderful photos taken just this week, and I put them into this hymn because to me, you are the faithful, our faithful, who come together tonight at the end of this crazy pandemic year to celebrate and to call forward the rebirth of love. Oh, come, all ye faithful. That was great. And now for the Christmas story, one told by our ancestors and their ancestors at this season for thousands of years now. An ancient tale retold and reimagined every year and relived by those who tell it, each year in some different way. It is indeed a living story, lived by us and made new again every time we tell it. I offer you now two ways to experience the story this year. You can close your eyes and listen to our four readers and hear the Bible words plain and clear, imagining them as you will in your own way. Or you can open your eyes and see a photo or two that I've chosen to illustrate the story with some familiar faces and places. The choice is yours. And for the carols, we have some delightful surprises in store for you. Our choir doesn't always like to show their faces, so sometimes I put other images to the music, pieces of art through the ages or from around the world, so you can see the enduring and universal appeal of these characters and ideas. And later on, from more recent times, we'll hear another Christmas story. I hope you can enjoy it all, that you can receive this worship service as a Christmas gift from the many people who helped to create it, to you, their chosen, loving family. Tonight we have 3 readings from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, and one from Matthew, chapter 2. Let us begin. Jim Duncan has our first reading. Jim, are you there?
A reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verses 1 through 7, the birth of Jesus. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth, to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to give birth. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
Our next reader is Mary Hildebrand. Mary?
And in the same region, there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with great fear. And the angel said to them, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased."
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Our next reading comes from David Folzer.
When the angels went away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has made known to us." And they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. And when they saw it, they made known the saying that had been told them concerning the child. And all who heard it wondered at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them.
Gather round the manger softly, softly. See the precious stranger. Sing hallelujah. Simple shepherds greet you, Jesu, Jesu. Stately magi seek you, sing hallelujah. self's love enfolds you. Sing Alleluia. Through the eons reaching, Jesu, Jesu, love's great lesson teaching. Sing Alleluia.
Our last Bible reading comes from MUUC.
Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, the wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word that I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way.
With the kings of Orient born, bearing gifts
Many of you know that our members, Richard Svoboda and Liz Folzer, both play for the BSO, and their daughter, Marie, also a talented musician, grew up in our church. It has become something like a tradition here for this lovely family to offer us a musical Christmas treat. This year, we are blessed to receive this gift based on 3 old French carols. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. If you are moved to donate tonight, you can on our website, melroseuu.org. There's a yellow button in the top right corner. Go ahead and help yourself. Now it's time for our modern Christmas story about a holiday in hard times. Gather around your devices. In the 1940s, André Trocmé was the minister of a small church in the village of Le Chambon-sur-Lignon in south central France. When the Nazis invaded and demanded from him a list of all the Jews in town, Trocmé refused, and he encouraged his people in those and all the surrounding villages instead to feed, hide, and aid anyone under threat. It's estimated that working together, these people saved as many as 3,500 people. At the time, it was illegal for ministers to preach against the Nazis, or even to preach about pacifism or about the teachings of Jesus. So Trocmé created stories and allegories to share with his people as sermons, to teach values, to inspire hope, and to raise the spirits of his people who were cold and hungry and frightened. Here is a story Andrei Trocmé told one Christmas during the war. It was written for two voices.
It snowed a lot that year. Heavy snow, wet and well packed. The children were overjoyed.
On Christmas Eve, the schoolmaster gathered his students together. "My children," he said, "I am leaving you for the holidays. You will be free of school, and I am not giving you any homework. But try to put your time to good use. I am counting on all of you to prepare a beautiful surprise for when I return."
Yes, sir, they all exclaimed.
The first ones to begin planning their surprise was the class of little ones. "I have an idea," said the smallest one. "Why don't we build a church for the teacher made entirely of snow?" "Yes, yes," approved all the others, clapping their hands. The little ones worked hard together all day long, and toward the evening they finished the church of snow. It was very beautiful, for they had put all their love into it. It even had window panes of clear ice they had gathered from the pond. The little ones could enter it without bending down at all, and the middle ones and the big ones could stand up almost straight in it. They had to bend their heads a little bit, but everyone agreed that a church is made for prayer anyway, and they all admired the lovely surprise that the little ones had made for their teacher.
But the next day, the middle ones became jealous and thought of doing something better. They decided to build a whole castle entirely of snow, like Snow White's palace. They put all their intelligence into designing the snow castle, and when they finished it that evening, it had several rooms with doors and windows and towers topped with icicles. There was even a snow bridge to enter the palace. The middle ones congratulated themselves on being so clever and building a better surprise than the little ones.
But the big ones became jealous, and the next day they decided that the snow church and the snow palace were childish. "We are almost grown," they said. "Let us make something grown up, like a fort made of snow." They worked hard all day with shovels and axes and made an enormous, handsome fort. It had walls taller than any of the children, with notched battlements at the top, and when the little ones and the middle ones came to see it, they found a sentinel with a big stick who told them, "No entry! Get away from here! This fort is only for the big ones." It was all very grandiose.
The next day, after all the building was done, all the children began to get a little bored. Some of them continued to fuss with the buildings, and some of them went back to their other games, and all of them forgot the promise to the teacher to make good use of their time. At last, one of the big ones shouted, "I know, let's play war." With a yell of excitement, all the members of the big class began to make a stalk of snowballs in their fort. The middle ones saw this, but shrugged their shoulders and told each other that they were not afraid. Yet a few of them began gathering snowballs behind the walls of their palace.
The war actually started on the 6th day. The big ones began bombarding the middle ones with snowballs. At first, the middle ones returned the volleys with laughter. But the big ones were strong, and soon their snowballs had broken the towers and the snow bridge, and the middle ones became furious. Their soft snowballs had no impact at all on the walls of the huge fort, so they put ice inside them. Then the big ones attacked the castle. They took possession of the palace and trampled it all down and leveled it. They shoved the middle ones who tried to stop them into the snowbanks.
Meanwhile, the little ones were frightened by all the commotion. They went into their snow church and tried to ignore what was happening. But when the first snowball shattered one of their ice windows, they understood that this affair was also their business. So they formed a procession and tried to stand between the big ones and the middle ones, shouting, "Stop! Stop the fighting! Don't ruin our beautiful surprises that we all prepared. You are going to make our beloved teacher very sad."
But no one listened to them. Instead, the middle ones joined with the big ones to attack them, and the lovely church of snow was destroyed.
As evening came, the little ones were crying, and the middle ones had wet snow all down their backs, and their faces were red with anger. The big ones gathered in their fort, laughing about what they had done. Suddenly, one of them shouted and pointed to the school. A light had appeared in the schoolmaster's window. Their teacher was home early. All the children were upset. "The teacher returned when we didn't expect him," they said. "In the morning he will see all that we have done, and we don't have time to rebuild." But one of the big ones just smiled. "Never mind. Our fort is still standing. The teacher will have to admire the power of our class like everyone else."
In the middle of the night, while everyone slept, a southern wind began to blow, and a warm rain from the south fell, melting all the snow. It washed away the ruins of the church and the ruins of the palace. It washed away the prideful walls of the fort until nothing was left. When the morning came, the teacher assembled his students.
"Poor children," he said. "You built with snow. Didn't you know that snow would melt in the southern wind? These masterpieces of yours were just games. But your intentions are what really matter. Come, show me your eyes so that I may read what lies in the depth of your hearts."
The big ones came first, and the teacher said, "I see in your eyes power and pride. You built an enormous fort, and you destroyed your friends' creations. Go and see what's left of your fortress." And the big ones found nothing, nothing but nothingness.
The middle ones came next, and the teacher said, "I see in your eyes intelligence, but also extravagance and vanity. You had a good idea, but when the big ones attacked you, you gave up that idea. It had no foundation. Go see what's left of your castle." And the middle ones found only a swamp of melting snow where their palace used to stand.
Then came the little ones. "Your eyes," said the teacher, "are full of sadness and shame. You built a lovely church, but it was a church made only of snow, and nothing is left of it. You tried to stop the battle, but you couldn't. Go and see the place where your church stood." The little ones went to the site of their creation. Next to the puddle that had been their church, they found a patch of grass turning green, the first signs of spring.
Christmas is a sturdy holiday. It doesn't wimp out when times are hard. It comes even if there are hardly any presents, even if you're sad, even if the Nazis have taken over your country and you're hiding Jews in the basement and you could be arrested at any moment. Christmas still comes. And when it comes, Christmas is subversive. The unwed mother, the doubtful father, the baby in a stable, worshipped by some of the richest, wisest men on earth. The baby who grew up to challenge empires, to show us all something new and enduring about love and justice and hope. The Christmas story subverts all our expectations if you let it. You can't stop Christmas. King Herod couldn't do it. Hitler couldn't do it. And the pandemic can't do it. Because it's not about the stuff, and it never has been. Christmas isn't about the cookies or the carols or the 1,000 other traditional things that, of course, we love, and sometimes we have to live without. Christmas isn't even about church or family, even though I know it feels heartbreaking to be living without them at this minute. Christmas is about something even more precious and more personal than that. All this month of December, our worship theme has been stillness, which has proven remarkably controversial. I've heard from some of our retirees, I don't want stillness. My life is already much too still. I need to get out, to do yoga, to move my body and my mind. And I've heard from parents of our young children, are you nuts? Stillness? I have never been busier in my whole life. I wish I had the luxury of time for stillness. The pandemic has pushed us all in different directions, depending on our life situations. Some of us are unbearably lonely. Others are desperate for a moment to ourselves. Many of us feel like we are at the end of our ropes. What can I say to you all in this moment that matters? Just this, something really simple. Hold on. We are at the turning point. I mean, literally, we are at the turning point. This is the darkest moment in the year. From here out, the light starts coming back. Slowly, it comes back. In Iran, the tradition of Yalda began 2,500 years ago. On the winter solstice, families gathered for a feast, and they still do. They surround themselves with candles, they eat pomegranates and nuts, and recite poetry. Omid Safi, a professor of Iranian studies at Duke University, explained the tradition this way. It's a beautiful way of assuring you that you have lived through long nights before. It is precisely at this point that the night is longest and darkest. Exactly at this point is when you've turned the corner. And we are turning the corner. Just last week, as the COVID death count hit 300,000, the first healthcare workers got the vaccine. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Musing about the solstice, the turning point, the whole planet's turning point, the Episcopal priest Barbara Brown Taylor just this week said, I've stopped trying to handle the darkness. Now I let the darkness handle me instead. Most of the time, all it wants to do is hold me for a while, slow me down, keep me from running, cover me up long enough to remember that being in the dark doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It means I'm alive, and this is part of the deal, unquote. Darkness is part of the deal, part of being alive. So is loneliness and chaos and fear and death, all of it. And now is its season, undeniably. But we are also at the turning point. We are also now turning toward the light, and you can just start to see it. Like in the dark, dark sky, you can see the stars so clearly. And in a dark, dark room, the candles shine so bright. In a heart full of grief and fear, there is still room for hope. That's what Christmas is about, not presents or feasts or church or even family. Christmas is about the movement of your own heart. It's about something that is stirring there even now, whether you can feel it or not. You just might yet. Christmas is about the spirit of love, alive in the world, the spirit of love reborn again this night and every night when every child is born, and every night when a good deed is done. Christmas is about the spirit of love moving through the world, twinkling through the darkness and the cold, flying invisibly across the miles, connecting all of us right now and aiming for you. And when it finds you, when the spirit of love moves in your heart and whispers in your ear, what will it say? I don't know. I'm not you. Maybe you need to call your sister, or donate a lot of food to a food pantry, or read a book that opens your heart, or paint something amazing. I don't know. I'm not you, and I'm not the Spirit. The Spirit has a mind of its own. It will come when you least expect it, and maybe it will tell you to do something profound or crazy or maybe even subversive, like give birth in a stable, or follow a star, or save some refugees, give away your wealth, say I'm sorry, create something beautiful, or maybe even just rest for now and take really good care of yourself. I know that the spirit of love is alive in this world, reborn again tonight, moving among us, holding our broken hearts with reverence and care, and making space for us to rest now in the darkness and make our way together toward the springtime. The spirit of love is indeed alive. You can't stop Christmas. Herod couldn't, Hitler couldn't, the pandemic can't. Christmas comes no matter what, in our worst times, in our darkest times, in our most dangerous and scary times, the spirit of love comes back, is reborn. It whispers in our ears, telling us once again, wait for the light, bring the light, be the light. Christmas is a sturdy holiday. Here it comes again, to light the darkness, to hold us up, to whisper in our ears. What will it say? Merry Christmas. I love you. Amen. Now comes the moment that you've been waiting for, I think. First, we will hear the choir's traditional favorite, Night of Silence, which blends beautifully into Silent Night. And you'll notice as you watch that they turn down the lights and they light their candles. Let's all follow suit along with them. Turn down your lights, light your candles until we are all singing together in the candlelight. Keep your candle lit, and after the song, we'll have one of our scrolling moments so you can stop and look at everybody and switch to gallery view and see all those lovely faces by candlelight. Then we'll blow them out and we'll sing Joy to the World. One quick word, this next video is very special. You can only see 4 people in it because we limit the number of people who can gather, but you will hear many more choir members who sang along and guest instrumentalists who played for us, and Beth blended them all together. It sounds beautiful. Let yourself enjoy it.
Cold are the people, winter of life. We tremble in shadows this cold endless night. Frozen in the snow lie roses sleeping, flowers that will echo our sunrise. Far off home is our only warmth. Weary is they will be dying soon.
Voice in the distance, calling in the night, unwilling folders who speak of light. Gently whisper softly, words of the dawn so breathless love await darkened souls. Soon will we know of the morning. Spirit of the Lord, shine like the star. Your light, the good shepherds and kings from afar. Shiver in the sky, so empty and lonely, rising in the warmth of your stars.
Jennifer.
Now, if you would, let's just take a moment and switch to gallery view and see all of us together in candlelight. And how about on the count of 3, everybody unmute and wish one another a Merry Christmas. 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Joy to the world, everyone. Joy to the world.
Great job.
Merry Christmas.
Fantastic.
Bye, Karen.
Maybe just here.
Okay, do it again.
Hi, Ness. Hi, Ness.
Yeah, too.
Hi, kids.
Take care.
I'm on the seat.
Wonderful service. Merry
Christmas.
What a nice church. Yes.
Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sharon.
Okay, Josh, time for joy to the world. Joy to the world.
Okay.
You always see yourself.
Where am
I
I?
have the popcorn.
Probably another.
Oh, I love the
Joy
cake.
to the world. Joy to the world, everyone.
I know. We have one more Christmas carol.
Did Carol write all these carols?
I think so, dear. It's the favors of chickens.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth praise His name, and every heart prepare a room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, now gladness reigns. Let hearts with songs employ, from fields and floods, from hills and plains. Repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. Let righteousness its glory show, as wonders of God's love, as wonders of God's love, as wonders of God's love.
And now the benediction. Joy to the world. Once again, against all the odds, in a hard time, in utter darkness, the Spirit of love has come back to us. The Spirit of love is born again and helps us to be born again, to live in it and through it, and let it be us. Merry Christmas, joy to the world. Amen.